When most people think of Niagara Falls, they think of the waterfalls. But for more than a century, another force helped shape this city, the railroad. Long before interstate highways and commercial air travel, trains brought visitors from across America to experience one of the nation's greatest natural wonders. They carried tourists, moved freight, supported industry, and helped transform Niagara Falls into a world-famous destination. As the United States celebrates its 250th birthday, we're exploring the surviving reminders of that railroad legacy. From hidden underpasses to the last remaining support of the historic Cantilever Bridge, these overlooked landmarks tell the story of how the rails connected Niagara to a growing nation. Let's trace Niagara's railroad history and discover what's still standing today. Our first stop is the College Avenue Railroad Underpass. At first glance, it might seem like a simple roadway passing beneath railroad tracks. But structures like this played an important role in keeping Niagara moving. As rail traffic increased, cities needed safer ways for vehicles and pedestrians to cross busy rail corridors. Underpasses eliminated dangerous grade crossings and allowed trains and traffic to move more efficiently. For generations, residents passed beneath these tracks as trains rolled overhead. Today, the underpass remains a quiet reminder of an era when railroads were a constant presence throughout the city. The name Depot Avenue offers an important clue about Niagara's past. Railroad depots once served as gateways to the city. Passengers arriving in Niagara Falls often stepped off trains eager to see the falls for the first time. Hotels, businesses, and attractions depended on the steady flow of travelers. This underpass stands near what was once a much busier transportation network. While the trains may be fewer today, the infrastructure remains as a reminder of the era when rail travel helped make Niagara Falls a world-famous destination. Transportation systems constantly evolve. Roads are rerouted. Bridges are replaced. Rail corridors change. The former Ontario Avenue Railroad Underpass represents one of those changes. While many travelers pass nearby without noticing, this location reflects how railroad infrastructure once shaped the city's layout. For decades, rail lines influenced where people lived, worked, and traveled. Even after portions of the system disappeared, traces remain embedded in Niagara's landscape. Sometimes history survives not in grand monuments, but in everyday places like this. Portage Road has been an important transportation corridor for centuries. Long before railroads arrived, people carried goods around the falls along routes that eventually became roads like this one. When railroads reached Niagara, they followed many of the same transportation patterns. The Portage Road Railroad Underpass reflects the city's growth during the industrial age. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, railroads carried more than tourists. They moved coal, machinery, building materials, and countless products that supported Niagara's industries. Hydroelectric development, manufacturing, and commerce all depended on reliable transportation. The railroad helped connect Niagara to markets throughout America. Railroads didn't just influence tourism and industry. They shaped neighborhoods. The 10th Street Railroad Underpass stands as a reminder of how closely everyday life was tied to the railroad. For residents living nearby, trains were part of daily life. The sound of locomotives. The movement of freight cars. The steady rhythm of a city connected by rail. As Niagara expanded, underpasses like this helped maintain access between neighborhoods while accommodating growing rail traffic overhead. Today, it remains one of many subtle reminders of the city's railroad heritage. Perhaps the most dramatic reminder of Niagara's railroad history can be found at Freedom Plaza. Here stands one of the surviving supports of the old Niagara Cantilever Bridge. Completed in the 19th century, the bridge carried railroad traffic across the Niagara Gorge between the United States and Canada. At the time, it represented a remarkable engineering achievement. Trains crossed high above the river. Freight moved between two nations. The bridge helped strengthen economic and transportation connections across the border. Although the bridge itself is gone, this remaining support allows us to imagine what once stood here. It is one of the most tangible links to Niagara's railroad past, and perhaps one of the most important surviving railroad artifacts in the city. The railroad helped transform Niagara Falls from a frontier community into one of America's most visited destinations. It carried generations of travelers to the falls, supported local industries, connected neighborhoods, and linked Niagara to cities across the United States and Canada. Today, many of the stations, bridges, and rail yards are gone, but their story lives on through places like these. As America celebrates its 250th birthday, these underpasses, bridge supports, and forgotten railroad corridors remind us that history isn't always found in famous landmarks. Sometimes it's hidden in the places we pass every day. Every one of these locations is a surviving piece of Niagara's transportation heritage, and together, they tell the story of a city that grew alongside a nation. Thank you for joining me as we explored Niagara's railroad legacy. If you enjoyed this journey through Niagara's past, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join me for more adventures as we continue discovering the history, scenery, and hidden stories of Niagara, USA. Until next time, thanks for watching.